It all started with a single interview, one that no one saw coming. For years, fans had wondered what lay behind CanYaman's flawless image, the charming smile, the magnetic presence, the perfect confidence that seemed unshakable. But when he sat down for what was meant to be a casual conversation, what came out left everyone, fans, journalists, even close friends, completely speechless. He didn't come to promote a project or talk about fame. He came to talk about truth. And in just a few minutes, he revealed a side of himself that the world had never seen before. "I'm not who people think I am," he said softly, looking directly into the camera. "Sometimes, the version of you that the world falls in love with isn't the real one, it's the one you created to survive." The studio went silent. It wasn't the confident CanYaman people were used to seeing. This was someone raw, reflective, and maybe even a little broken. He spoke about the years he spent chasing perfection, how he felt trapped between the public's expectations and his own silence. "They see strength," he said, "but they don't see the cost." His words hit like a wave. Fans online immediately began sharing clips with captions like "He's finally speaking his truth" and "CanYaman's confession breaks hearts." Behind the scenes, those who knew him best weren't surprised. They'd seen the toll of fame, the sleepless nights, the endless traveling, the loneliness that no amount of applause could fill. But hearing him speak so openly, with no script, no filter, was something entirely new. He confessed that he had lost himself at times. "You try to be everything for everyone," he said, "and one day you wake up realizing you don't even recognize yourself anymore." The interviewer hesitated for a moment before asking, "Is that why you've distanced yourself from certain people?" Can took a deep breath, smiled faintly, and replied, "Sometimes love and peace don't live in the same place. You have to choose one." The line spread like wildfire across social media. Within hours, it became one of the most quoted sentences in entertainment headlines across Europe. No one could believe it, the man who had always seemed untouchable was now speaking in a way that made him human. Vulnerable. Real. The next morning, the internet couldn't talk about anything else. CanYaman's confession was trending across multiple countries. Clips from the interview were translated into different languages, fan pages flooded with emotional comments, and hashtags like #TheRealCanYaman and #CanSpeaksTruth dominated timelines. Everyone wanted to know, what exactly had changed him? Why was he suddenly ready to open up after years of silence and mystery? Journalists tried to contact his team for clarification, but his management remained quiet. What was clear, however, was that Can himself had decided to let his truth speak louder than any statement. He posted a single message on Instagram that morning. "Truth doesn't destroy you, it frees you." It was simple, powerful, and perfectly in line with the man people were finally getting to know. Those who had followed his career from the start knew this was no ordinary phase. They remembered his rise, the charming lawyer-turned-actor who stole hearts not just in Turkey, but across Italy, Spain, and beyond. The man whose name alone could fill entire stadiums during meet-and-greet events. The man who seemed unstoppable. But behind the glamour, there was always a shadow, whispers of exhaustion, pressure, and expectations that few could ever meet. In the interview, Can spoke about how the industry shaped him, and how sometimes it broke him. "You can't always tell when the line between acting and real life disappears," he admitted. "Sometimes, you start playing a character off-screen just to protect yourself." That line hit home for thousands of his fans, and for many, it explained so much. Then came the question that everyone had been waiting for: who was the person who made you question everything? Can hesitated. His eyes softened, his lips parted slightly, and for a moment, he looked like he was searching for the right word, or the courage to say it. "Someone I once shared everything with," he finally said. But sometimes timing destroys what love builds. The room fell completely silent. The interviewer didn't press him, but fans didn't need names. They knew exactly who he meant. Within minutes, old photos of CanYaman and Demet Özdemir flooded social media again. Clips of their on-screen chemistry, their laughter behind the scenes, And the way they used to look at each other resurfaced with captions like, "He still remembers," and "Timing, he's talking about her." Ken didn't confirm it, he didn't need to. His silence, his tone, his expression said more than words ever could. As hours turned into days, that one interview became the most replayed clip in entertainment media. Fans, journalists, even other celebrities began reacting to it, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. People were used to seeing CanYaman as the confident superstar, bold, fearless, charming. But now, for the first time, they were seeing him as a man with scars, emotional ones, invisible but deep. Italian and Turkish media outlets started releasing their own analyses. One Italian magazine wrote, "CanYaman has done what few actors dare to do, he turned vulnerability into strength." Another Turkish columnist described the moment as the day the mask fell, and the man behind the myth appeared. Everywhere, the tone had shifted. People no longer spoke about his fame or his physique, they spoke about his heart. But the attention didn't stop there. Fans began revisiting old interviews, old moments from his career, looking for hints that pointed to the pain he was finally revealing. They found it. The way his smile didn't quite reach his eyes during certain press tours, how he avoided love questions for years, and how his posts had turned more introspective over time. It all made sense now. Then, a journalist asked him in a follow-up segment, "Do you ever regret loving someone who couldn't stay?" Ken smiled sadly and said, "No. You never regret love. You just regret the silence after it ends." The audience gasped. That single sentence was shared thousands of times across social media, and fans called it the most honest line he's ever said. Meanwhile, Demet Özdemir's name began trending again, even though she hadn't said a word. Her fans rushed to defend her, saying, "She's moved on," while others insisted, "She feels it too." But amid all the noise, she posted something unexpected, a quiet, black and white photo of the sea at night, with the caption, "Some things you can't unfeel." That was it. No names, no explanations. And yet, within minutes, everyone knew. Ken didn't reply publicly, but people close to him claimed he had seen the post. He reportedly said only 5 words to a friend after reading it, "She still understands me, somehow." Those words reignited everything, the stories, the memories, the emotions that the world thought were long gone. By that evening, news sites across Europe were writing the same headline, "The truth about CanYaman that left everyone speechless, was it always about her?" And suddenly, what had started as a quiet confession turned into a wave of nostalgia and heartbreak that the entire world could feel. The following week, everything around CanYaman changed. He wasn't just a celebrity anymore, he had become a symbol of emotional honesty, a man who dared to strip away the glamour and show the world who he really was. Yet, behind that strength was something else, an ache that still lingered. Paparazzi spotted him walking alone through the streets of Rome one evening, wearing his signature black coat, head down, earbuds in. One of the reporters managed to capture a short clip. The song he was listening to was faintly audible, "Love Me Like You Used To." That was enough to send fans into another emotional spiral. They called it his silent message. The clip gained millions of views overnight. A few days later, Kim posted a message on his Instagram story, "Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding." The line was simple, but to those who had followed his story, it meant everything. Fans began sharing their own stories of heartbreak, saying how his words helped them feel less alone. It was as if his personal pain had turned into something universal, something that touched everyone who had ever lost someone they loved. Meanwhile, Demet remained quiet, at least publicly. But a well-known journalist revealed that she had turned down an interview request that would have asked about Can. Her reason? "I have nothing to prove to anyone." That statement only deepened the mystery, making people believe that what they shared still lingered in both their hearts. When asked during another interview if he believed in destiny, Ken took a deep breath and smiled faintly. "Destiny?" he said softly. "Maybe it's just the universe's way of reminding you of what you're not ready to lose." The host paused, realizing the weight behind those words. There was no name, no direct reference, but everyone could feel the truth in his voice. That night, Turkish and Italian tabloids published side-by-side photos, Can looking out at the sea in Rome, and Demet standing near the Bosphorus in Istanbul, both at sunset, both alone. The headlines wrote themselves, two cities, one story. Fans began making emotional edits of the two, distant, yet connected, living under the same sky. For the first time, people weren't gossiping. They were feeling. They were remembering that even the most famous faces carry stories that the world never truly understands. And just when everyone thought the storm had calmed, something unexpected happened. A source close to a production team revealed that a new international drama was in early talks. The leads? CanYaman and Demet Özdemir. The internet exploded once again. Was this real? A coincidence? Or fate's quiet way of bringing them face to face again after years of silence? When the rumors of their possible reunion hit the internet, fans couldn't believe it. Could it really be happening? After everything, after years of silence, after all those unspoken words? The hashtags #CanAndDemetAgain and #DestinyNeverForgets took over every social platform within hours. Journalists called it the comeback the world had been waiting for. Can didn't confirm the project directly, but he posted something that sent chills down everyone's spine, a short video of a film set being prepared, the caption reading, "Some stories never really end." Within minutes, the internet exploded with speculation. Fans matched the details of the set to locations rumored to be used for the upcoming series. The energy online was electric, hope, nostalgia, and love all blending into one unstoppable wave. Meanwhile, Demet was photographed leaving a meeting at a production studio in Istanbul. Reporters shouted questions, asking if the rumors were true, if she would work with Can again. She stopped, turned slightly toward the cameras, and said calmly, "If the story is real, why not?" That one sentence was enough to break the internet all over again. A week later, a journalist from an Italian magazine asked Can what he thought about Demet's comment. He paused, smiled that same soft smile he had worn during his emotional interview, and said, "Sometimes two people don't choose the story chooses them." The audience fell silent. Everyone could feel that he wasn't speaking just about fiction. As days passed, fans noticed something subtle. Both Can and Demet began following the same cinematographer on Instagram, and a makeup artist known for working with both of them posted a mysterious caption, "Back where it all began." That was all it took. Every fan page, every entertainment site, every news outlet jumped to the same conclusion: they were coming back together, at least on screen. But beyond the cameras and the rumors, something deeper was happening. Can had changed, he was softer now, more grounded. And Demet, who once carried the image of the girl who smiled through everything, now seemed stronger, wiser, calmer. Life had shaped them both. They weren't who they once were, but maybe that was exactly what they needed to finally meet again, this time as the people they had become. The world watched as two lives, once intertwined, drifted apart and slowly found their way back toward the same horizon. It didn't matter whether they would end up together again in real life, because, in the hearts of millions, their story had already become something greater than romance. It had become hope. And in his final words during a later interview, Can summarized it perfectly: "You don't forget the people who showed you who you really are. Some truths don't destroy you, they remind you how deeply you can feel." The audience sat in silence, his voice echoing in the room. For a moment, the entire world felt it. The truth about CanYaman that had left everyone speechless wasn't about fame, or scandal, or love. It was about humanity. About what it means to be real in a world that only sees perfection. And so, the myth faded, the man remained, honest, vulnerable, unforgettable.